President Bola Tinubu presenting the check of one of the beneficiaries on Wednesday at the State House. President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday actually inaugurated the student loan. You should know that. And he said that it is a key to fighting poverty. He said the student loan scheme aligned with his administration's commitment to inclusiveness and assured sufficient funding to sustain the program. He added that education was the greatest weapon against poverty in any society, which he said was essential for vision development and successfully combating insecurity, including terrorism and banditry. The president presented checks to students from each of Nigeria's 6 geopolitical zones. Mr. Akintunde Soya, the Executive Secretary of Nigerian Education Loan Fund, announced that 32 billion naira was currently available for disbursement to kickstart the program. And he said that since the portal opened on May 25, 164,000 students have registered, with 103,000 applying for loans. He said the initiative, which became law on April 3rd, 2024, as the Student Loan Access to Higher Education Act, aimed at empowering Nigerian youth by providing fair, transparent funding and removing financial barriers to educational opportunities. Just the second to the last paragraph of this particular story actually told us the amount of students that have registered, and then the amount of students that are applying. We're told that on May 25, that the portal actually opened on May 25. And since then, 164,000 students have registered and 103,000 students are applying for the loans. What's your thoughts on the loan scheme, especially as the president has said that it's a way of fighting poverty?
Well, let me commend Mr. President, first of all, for keeping to his promise and his words. I'm beginning to see Mr. President as a man of his words, man that keeps to his promises, because similarly there are few things he has said that looks impossible, but he has made them to be possible. Now, because it has to do with the educational sector, he said is a way of fighting poverty. And I think it's from the mindset of our students. I think that's the area it's coming from. But with the kind of academic situation...
What do you mean by, sorry, what do you mean by the mindset of our students?
Poverty is a mindset. So if they are properly trained, if their heart is properly empowered, then they will think well. So poverty is a thing of the mind also. Okay,
so you feel like the president is working on the minds of the Nigerian students by providing...
Yes, that's why he's investing. So it's a good one. But my only worriedness is that with the way our educational system is right now, maybe that loan, most of the students will use it to go and start business so that they can begin to have economic survival.
Isn't that going to be helpful for the students? Isn't it part of the poverty elevation?
If the loan is to alleviate the school fees, the intention of the loan, which I think is to alleviate the school fees of the student. So it's indirect scholarship, though you will pay back. So the point I'm trying to raise here is that the kind of academic training that we have in Nigeria, for the president to release that money now, having not taken care, you know there's still an ongoing challenge with ASU. Right now to the student, you are only saying that they should use the money to go and start up business, because the intent of that money will not be achieved.
Why would it not be achieved? It's for school fees.
That's what,
are the students restricted from paying fees now?
That's what we are saying now. Why students and why our graduates, seemingly majority, are liabilities, it's not because their parents could not pay their fees. Their parents manages, most of them manages, worked hard to pay their fees. But the cause of our students not being resourceful to us, we are still saying that the issue of their training should be looked into. As the president have looked into the issue of the loan for students, is a wonderful one. But I'm only saying that the timing is not correct. Because these resources, if I'm a student right now, you give me that money, I'll use it to go and start up a business.
Is there a time that students will not think about that, even if the economy was better?
No, what we are trying to...
But let's not forget that we're told that the loans are not... We have loans for fees, we have loans also, student loans for business.
So that's a good one. So I think if the student loan for business is emphatical, one, our students have to brace up in their studies, because most times here in Nigeria we believe that when a child is going to school, if he goes to do business, is a distraction. So I want to appeal to our students, if that loan gives you opportunity for business, be very serious with the business angle for now.
And leave the school?
No, until the content of your training is reviewed. Because if you focus on the school with what you are having now, right now, that we know, you will still graduate to be a beggar and a liability. So
well, let's look at that aspect now. Maybe we'll take liability more than we'll take beggar. We'll drop the word beggar,
okay,
and work with liability, some of them. But let's look at that now. A lot of Nigerians have raised an argument for the fact that you give students loan, and when they leave school, there's no guarantee of them getting a job. So what is the provision that you think would be on ground for these students to begin to pay back the loans that they are giving? So what are your thoughts on this particular?
How can you expect the poorest of the poor, the small money you have managed to give them, you want them to pay back? To who? So the economy is bad. All we should encourage them right now is to see how they will utilize that money so that they can help their economy and also help the economy of Nigerians.
So you don't see the loan scheme as something that should be done now?
What the point is, every Nigerian right now needs money. The student we are talking about needs money. Every Nigerian now needs to contribute to the economic restoration of Nigeria. So if the student, some of us were in business even while we were in secondary school. So there's nothing wrong for someone who is in tertiary institution to go into business.
So you're saying if it's a business loan, then it's fine. But having the loan for school fees, that's the way you have the problem.
That's what I'm saying, that because for me, investing in our academic situation right now is a waste until the training formula of our institution is reviewed. I repeat this all the time.
Okay, you have reiterated, like you said.
Yes, but if the students...
That's most of our, in your words, most, even though I don't agree with that, of our graduates are liabilities at the end of the day. But let's also not forget that we have graduates who are addition. Like they're an addition to the society, they're an addition to the economy, and you cannot take that away from the equation.
Of course.
And it's still the same curriculum, it's still the same academic system, it's still the same education that provided those people, produced those people.
You see, what we are trying...
So it's not entirely...
No, we are not saying entirely. When majority is more, even if it is half, is a big problem. We have so many jobless Nigerians now.
So the problem, the solution should be looking at creating jobs. Instead of saying, don't give them, don't put it in your school fees, it's a waste, the whole school
who is
system
going to create the job
all
now?
Of that.
Government? Who is going to create the job now? Is it government?
Who do we expect to create the job?
It is, you see, all over the world, government does not provide jobs for all citizens. That's why entrepreneurship is encouraged. And that's why if the business loan is part of it, the intent is for entrepreneurship.
How much encouragement are entrepreneurs in Nigeria actually getting from the government?
You see, if you are getting, you talked about business loan for students, right? If we are correct in that, it's a good one. So if they give you little money and you start business even as a student, That's a good encouragement.
No, we're looking at the graduates now, okay? We're looking at the graduates and some of the reasons you feel their liabilities. You talked about entrepreneurship and the fact that the government might not be able to provide a job for every citizen, which actually there's no argument about. But let's look at entrepreneurship now. Since the government might not be able to provide job for every citizen, and then we have some citizens who are into business and who are entrepreneurs. Now the question is, how much support have they really gotten from the government?
The truth is, government, to a reasonable extent, have never supported so much in entrepreneurs.
So when we are talking about them not being productive, it's not just on the curriculum now. We also need to look at the part where the government is not, like you have said, supporting businesses as much as is required.
70% of our graduates are not practicing what they studied in the university. You will agree with me. Those who are working have to retrain themselves again.
But some of them are going into business. We're expecting them to go into business, right?
That's what we are saying now, that because there is no provision for what they read in school, most of them, because they do not even know what they read it, but they did not know it. They were not trained. So they are not employable. They cannot even, begin something from what they have been trained for. I used to share with us here that if Okoro went to the roadside mechanic and studied mechanic, at the expiration of 2-3 years, Okoro will not be coming to ask his father for anything, because it's either he'll be working to own his own workshop without government support. Very many of us who have gone into entrepreneurship, we never got support, kind of. Ask any successful businessman in Nigeria. Very many never had support from government. So that's why we're talking about self-reliance, self-motivation, self-development. So we are saying that the kind of educational system we have is not even empowering entrepreneurs. Because when you are trained properly as a medical doctor, you can start up medical practitioner without government. If you are trained properly as a mechanical engineer, you can start up something without government.
We can't take the government out of the picture.
No. We see the point.
Because doing business has to be made easy by the government.
Yes, the areas.
Electricity, good roads, and all of those things are part of contributions to making businesses successful.
Good. We are talking about government creating enabling environment.
Exactly.
That's their responsibility. But the problem we have is that even if you have small enabling environment, what do you know? What can you do?
Do we even have the enabling? You are putting all the blame now on the educational system. And I'm telling you that there are a lot of graduates who actually want to do something, even in their field now. We're not talking about the ones who are doing outside their field. But they don't even have the enabling environment to start up anything. And sometimes it's even funds to start up, because we're talking about people who just left school.
Like if we have
struggled to pay their fees.
You see, if we have one example of what the person studied, if you read agric engineering or animal husbandry, how much will it take you to start up a poultry? It's simply because you want to start up in a big way. You are getting my point. We must understand.
We cannot take away government support from this.
I'm not disputing that. I'm not saying, I said that government have never really supported entrepreneurs. Is that correct? So what we are also saying is that the fact that government is not supporting you shouldn't mean that you should remain in a crying state. So I'm trying to encourage and motivate our graduates and non-graduates, because graduates are not only the people in Nigeria, that you can do something, start with what you have, with where you are, and then you can grow it by the grace of God. So very many people who are successful today, that you are envying today, if I tell you my own life experiences, it has nothing to do with government. So very many of us who started even as children, like I told you, right from secondary school, I was into entrepreneurship. Even when my father was against it, They say you are too small to go into business. What are you looking for money for? And I looked at myself, I said, my father is a PhD holder. We are 7 in number in the family. I was number 5. I look at the whole entire thing my father has in life. If they share it before it will get to my turn, it has finished. So I have to begin to work hard. So I don't need to take that advice and query of my father seriously. Rather than I have to be more careful so that I will not be a failure. So the fact that I was an entrepreneur from secondary school, it never limited me in life. So when I talk, I'm not talking as somebody who has become a beneficiary of government support. I'm talking as somebody whose God has helped, whom I made up my mind that I must succeed.
We should all believe in God instead of first.
Believe in God, believe in yourself. If government gives you, you get it, you say glory be to God. It
doesn't mean, you know, I understand what you're saying and the fact that people, I used to say that a lot too, that a lot of people should understand that they can do something for themselves. A lot of graduates stop looking for jobs up and down. They should try to, you know, we say all those things. But let's come back to the fact that the government, all right, if we're looking at the fact, what you have said and what some Nigerians are saying that, oh, some of our graduates are liabilities to the economy and all of that, we cannot take away the fact that the government also has a big role to play in that. We cannot keep pointing fingers at ASU's the curriculum in our schools. Oh, they should not fund education because of this and that. How much, even when the students want to become useful to the society, how much support have they gotten?
I think you are not getting me. I encourage.
I get your point.
My point is,
I'm just trying to tell you that we cannot take
no. I'm not blaming.
And blame it all on the educational system.
No.
And then say that ASU should not. What you used to say about ASU.
Even if you don't go to school, you can be successful in life.
Of course.
It is not the university system that will make you a great entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship training, we don't even have it in our educational system. So somebody who cannot grow any business, you have not grown business before, and you are teaching business study in school, doesn't make you an expert in that area. So what we are trying to say is that I'm not saying, my appeal have been, and my advocacy is that, can our lecturers, our educational managers, you get my point, look at what kind of training should we give to this our children?
They have done that.
Now, if they have done that, if you are speaking, I have got people with me here who agree that actually they need to review their content.
They said that.
Good. Too. So if good, but when you say they have done that, they did it last week.
They are.
No, when you say they have done it, is it last week?
Look, I keep taking you each time we have a conversation about ASU. I keep taking you back to ASU demands. All right. ASU have said and time again that look at our curriculum, it is outdated. And you know, we had one personnel from ASU who actually explained this to you the other day, that we have these columns for an updated curriculum, but the issue is the funding. How do we teach this particular topic that has to do with an equipment and we don't even have that
I
equipment?
agree now. I said, if the academic content has been reviewed, that's what I said. The government should fund ASU. They should fund.
I can't remember.
No, I said so. I said so.
No, I remember you saying about ASU is that they don't need funds.
I said if the content has been reviewed, and if it is reviewed, government should fund them, but it should be with agreements that you must produce this kind of quality graduate for us that will be resourceful. If you do not produce it, you refund us back this money. So that there will be no play.
It has to be an agreement.
Very well.
Provide what you need to provide as the government.
Good.
Provide the equipment you need to provide, the enabling environment in the schools, equip our research institutes and all of that. Do your own parts. And then, of course, the lecturers, what are they there for? What are they being paid for? They will do their part.
No.
There has been a back and forth between ASU and the government.
Our appeal, we are agreeing now. Now, Mr. President have approved and started the loan scheme for students. the issue of ASO and the federal government should be concluded, so that we now know that our educational system is now in a new dawn.
All right, let's also look at, because since we're talking about the students' loan, fighting poverty and all of that statement by Tinubu, a lot of students have complained that they have not been able to access the site to get the loan, to even apply for the loan. We spoke to the student union government of the University of Port Harcourt the other day, and then aside him, we spoke to someone else who is from another university who has told us that, oh, the truth is that they are not able to access the site. In fact, people are beginning to feel like there's another site that they are not aware of that probably other people who have access, like the news have told us, might have used. That's just an assumption now some people are having. But then we keep getting figures that, oh, these 1,000 students have registered, this 1,000, and the students are asking, where are these students that have registered?
Well, the NANS president was in the villa when, I think it was just when the Mr. President did this launch. And if students are having these challenges, the NANS president should be able to communicate to the federal government. Now,
so you think the federal government are not aware that the students might not?
No, I'm just giving an official recommendation. Number two, you don't need to sit down as a leper and begin to complain when you are hearing that this is the solution to your problem. You have the student of the university you are talking about. If they are interested, they can contribute money to for their SUG president. Are you getting me? They can go to Federal Ministry of Education in Abuja. They can go to the relevant institutions of government to ask for the original website in case what they have, because the social media is full of so many fake. So knowing that
schools, let's not forget that the federal government is working with the schools. These students are not just registering from outside or what information they got from social media. The federal government is in communication with the schools, and they're getting this data from the schools. So that's why NAN was telling schools to submit this data, because there's a deadline to work with. All right, so it's not just something from social media.
Now let me also.
Even the SUG president of Uniport also stated that he was not even, like, he feels like he has not been carried along with the fact that SUG presidents are not being carried along. This is something that has to do with students, but yet, in fact, he's not even aware of the whole process with the loan and all of those things, because he feels NAN has not been in communication with the SUG president of the schools.
You see, most times, that's what I'm saying. I was a student unionist, and I know that in our time there was healthy relationship between NANS, the SUGs, even the ethnic student groups. There was synergy. Not this time that you are made SUG president, you sit down as a lord in the school. You don't want to relate. If the NANS president do not come to you, I know we also have the issue of a vice president, zone this and zone that. So there must be a kind of mutual moves. If the NANS vice president or the president do not come to you, you can visit the person and get information. So you don't think that because it has to do, it's not student loan, no, it's federal government loan. So the federal government will deal with NANS. So if it is state government loan, you know that they will deal with you as SUG president. Not even as SUG president, they will deal with the state union, student union government. If it's River State, they will deal with National Union of River State Student, NOS. So they will not go and deal with SUG president because the school is in River State. No. So as SUG president, you have the privilege or the right to relate with NANS so that you can get adequate information. So SUG president should not continue to complain, and NANS officials too don't neglect the SUG president, because they are the constituencies where these names and the students are coming from. Mind you, the NANS president said that most of these institutions have not submitted their data, right? Now, if you go and apply from a school whose data has not been submitted? How will it work?
You can't even apply. They're saying they can't even access the site.
So our appeal,
some of them.
So our appeal right now is that the Ministry of Education, Federal Ministry of Education, and whosoever that has this responsibility to ensure that our students have this site, availably accessible. Make sure that you collaborate with the university authority. Ensure that a very genuine site is accessible to our students so that the intent of Mr. President will not be defeated.